Wreck.
Get Andy Hours on the left playing Burn. Phil Jones on the right playing Mono White Taxes. Both these players are 1-0. And Phil Jones off to a good start, defending his crown.
Returning league champ.
Also,
it looks like, you know, we the Billies and Bernies.
They're not here.
They did not show up. So
they're not here tonight. So there's some openings.
Wide open field again. And just to remind everybody, the graphic on screen is for Luke Browning. Luke is a local Magic player, real young guy. He actually top-aided a team event with two other guys that work here at the store, Justin Gibbing and Kyle Palmer. Luke was in a bad car wreck last week, towards the end of last week. His injuries are not life-threatening, but they're substantial. So we're asking if we're going to donate any donations to Luke. Justin talked to his parents quite a bit about stuff that he's looking forward to doing Magic. So we're trying to help him foil out his Banned Spirits deck because that was his deck of choice. So anything that you give is absolutely appreciated. Don't feel obligated, but just know it's very appreciated by Luke and his family in his time of need. So anything that you can do is greatly appreciated. And if you have any questions individually, let us know. Also, he was on camera bunch, so you can go check out. Just Google Luke Browning because they did top 4 actually, a team event. All right, so we got Burn on the left with Andrew Orrs and Phil with his mono white this week of Death and Taxes. Phil's on the play. Starts out his first play is Thalia, Guardian Thraben, and Andrew. It's actually his draw. Andrew's actually on Burn, so he's gonna have to make a decision because Thalia makes all instants.
Actually, yeah, this is really good.
Makes these spells cost 1 more.
That's a really good play. He has to pay for it, or it's not gonna.
Or it's not gonna get cast.
He's gonna get rid of Thalia. Okay.
110%. That's the correct thing to do.
Yeah, if you're a Burn deck that wants to be optimal and run multiple spells in a turn, you gotta kill Thalia.
Yeah.
Gonna try to get you the standings through round 1, 2 for the league thus far. Keep you all up to date as to who's winning is not. So want to donate? Just do a donation directly through the stream. That is the best way.
Awesome. Thanks, One Violence.
Thanks, One Violence, a lot. Really appreciate that. Said magical card players must stick together with each other. I lost it. Where's the chat? Essentially said Magic players must stick together through difficult times like this. Really, really appreciate everything you do for us, One Violence. We always like that you're watching us. Always like having conversations with you.
Well, we need to fix it so donations stay up on the screen a little longer.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. I think there's a way to put it in the chat as well.
So Andrew actually takes 3, gets his Sacred Foundry, and it looks like he's going to deploy Goblin Guide. Trigger. Oh, Phil gets value right away. Gets the planes. How lucky.
Goblin Guide is one of those cards where it's upside with downside. It's a 1 mana 2/2 with haste. But every time it attacks, your opponent gets to reveal the top card of the library. If it's a land, it goes into their hand.
All right, so Phil taps and plays a good blocker. Plays a Blade Splicer. Andrew on taps. What's his play? I see a bunch of lands in his hand. So that's not what Andrew wants to see. Right now, Andrew cannot attack because there's a 3/3 that has first strike because the Blade Splicer's on the table. Awesome, thanks, Ron.
Here's a donation link there for you, lover.
Also, for we're going to be more actively posting deck lists. So if there's any players or decks that you want highlighted or spotlighted, we'll be absolutely happy to get those on stream for you this time. We also plan on doing some spotlights with the players that are doing well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying it's an interaction, and I don't know how to play against taxes.
Andy mentioning that he does not know how to play against taxes really, so he's looks like he's very aware that he needs to be doing certain things against his deck to make sure he doesn't get taxed.
Okay, he passed the turn. He has a bolt in hand, so I think that's suboptimal. I think I'm going to bolt the golem token and attack for 4.
Like, why would you not attack there?
I'm not sure what he's waiting for to bolt. Then it seems like Andrew's pretty new to either Magic or to playing Burn.
I think he's pretty new to playing Burn. I think he was playing like a Mono Blue Turns deck previously.
Okay, so he's not used to turning stuff sideways.
Yeah, the Billy Camino syndrome.
Right. AKA, I've never cast a instant during combat in my life. What's a giant growth? All right, so a little interaction here is, remember, prowess does happen. You do not have to announce it. You do not have to announce prowess until it's relevant.
Correct.
So if players would like to use a die to represent the power and toughness, well, I would actually discourage them not to do that.
Why is that?
Because that is not... dies in Magic constitute counters. The die they're using is actually for a Tarmogoyf, which denotes the power and toughness of a Tarmogoyf.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is actually hard to keep track of misleading. Players need to be able to remember these things.
Yeah, a lot of times people say, "Oh, we're just gonna take these dice, and they're all possible." Like that's you have.
But
to
again,
yeah.
prowess is not something that can be missed. As soon as damage is relevant, then you have to announce the change.
Correct.
There is no forgetting a prowess trigger.
Correct.
It's not bad. It's not bad practice to say trigger.
So you have block the golem. Here's a.
So he actually missequenced that, but being this is casual event.
What do you mean he missed?
He said go to damage, so that means he passed priority.
Was it Phil or Andrew said go to damage?
Andrew said go to damage.
Yeah.
So Andrew actually passed priority. So how it actually works is if you go to blocks and say pass priority, or go to damage, Andrew's actually lost the chance to bolt because first strike damage would just happen. So his creature technically should have died there, but because this is casual. And with another Goblin Guide.
Andrew has the aggressive cards, but the question is, can he get through the wall? That's
Gideon, Ally, Zendikar.
But I don't know if he can cast that next turn. That's the only problem. It'd be really good for him if he could. Get those endless army of blockers out there. There's a bunch of blocks here from Phil.
So for Phil, I think his Blade Splasher should have blocked the Goblin Guide. If Andrew had an instant or sorcery to make his Swift Spear larger, he would have cast it either pre or during combat. So he actually cost himself a life point. So Phil actually did have the fourth land. It looks like he's probably just going to untap, play Gideon, Ally, Zendikar, and start making tokens.
I mean, that's the right play, right? Just
unless he has a Restoration Angel. Restoration Angel would be fantastic here.
But I mean, Andrew knows about the Gideon, so if Phil just says, "Well, I'm going to pass the turn," then I imagine Andrew knows something's up.
You would, but it all depends how familiar you are with decks.
True. I want to get some updates of players in the league. Well, Patrick Aguilar, Matthew Minier, they lost last round. Justin Blackburn came in second last month. He lost round 1.
Jeez, all the boys, all the
Justin
stream runner
Gebbing,
monkeys.
Won his match. He is 1-0. Zach Harris lost his match 0-1. Phil Jones, that you see on camera here, he is 1-0. Robert Meadows in Teamer Month, starting off 0-1. Patrick Narsev, that you saw, win his round. Let's see. Eddie Sturgill is 1-0, and that might be about it for people.
Yeah, let us know if you want to see any of those on camera.
Yeah.
Get some Robert Meadows hype.
Well, Robert's got to win.
I mean, we can still put him on.
We got to win. We got winners on camera.
We want winners on camera.
What's
Are you saying Robert's not a winner?
Not in round 1.
Is Robert the Cleveland Browns of our match?
Robert was the Cleveland Browns.
All right, so actually, look what happened. So. And
he's going to cycle, so no Restoration Angel. He's just going to cycle a land. He's got to have something. No, there's a Path to Exile.
Does he have 2 paths?
Okay, cool. Double path there from Phil.
Okay, well that would explain his attack then, because he's kind of pretty low.
Yeah, it gets burned.
He can't take.
To either one of the paths, I'm just going to go ahead and crack that now. We're going to go to the
This effectively doesn't matter whatsoever how he's ordering this, unless he plans to fail to find.
So I'll get this first. These guys will solve.
Andrew's just like
He's just shortcutting.
announcing he's shortcutting.
Yeah, because there's no reason to fetch before pathing.
Yeah,
before the path.
He just wants to only look through his deck.
The only time it's relevant is if you decide to crack your fetch before or after a Goblin Guide trigger.
Correct.
Because you're the other plan. You want to see what's on top of your deck.
However, we don't have any more legal targets for Andrew to search, so he fails to find. So just clean.
There's no other fetchable lands?
Interesting. Only 3 mountains. I don't play Burn, so I don't know if that's...
It seems very low. Well, feel free. He said he's worried he random missed one will draw it later. Feel free to look again. You have any questions there?
Someone says, someone likes to ban on the channel. We have a question from Mizumaro15. At the moment, is Green White Value Town better than Bant Company or not?
He was banned?
Bant Company is, someone's saying they banned on someone else's stream and chat. But yeah, someone's asking if Mizumaro15 at the moment is better Green White Value Town or Bant Coco?
Green White Value Town or Bant Coco?
I think question number one is your name Todd Stevens?
Yeah, if your name is Todd Stevens and you enjoy strip mining people out of games and winning long grinded games and play Green White is they're both lower tier decks. Is Bant Company, is that like Bant Nightfall?
Yes, I believe
is
so.
that winning with like a Nightfall combo?
Yeah, there's the ability. I think the Green White Company deck has no free wins. You have to earn every single win you can get.
Correct. Like it's like Jund. It's like 55-45 at best, even your best matchups.
The Bant Coco deck can steal free wins out of nowhere as Phil goes down to Oh Boy 3.
He goes to 3 because Andrew just plays them both out.
So Phil's at 3, Andrew's at 13. Phil has to dodge top deck, I think, because he has the Gideon in hand. Thank you, Looker91, for the $5 donation.
Awesome.
Really appreciate that. Luke appreciates that as well.
Luke and his family appreciate
that. Adding it all.
Interesting. Phil with the Seagate Wreckage. If you want to bring up Seagate Wreckage, this is
I like that a lot.
only seen in Eldrazi-tron.
We talked about that. He has a surprising amount of lands that actually add colorless lands just on their own, so he's able to do it. Phil's gonna.
So Seagate Wreckage is from Rise of Eldrazi. It is tap, add a colorless mana to your pool. 2 and colors, tap, draw a card. Activate this ability only if you have no cards in hand. So this is for, traditionally it's for big mana decks like Eldrazi, where they're going to empty their hands.
Yes.
And then it's a card advantage engine. You don't traditionally see it in a Taxis style deck, but
I think
Phil's making a go of it.
Drip mine Andrew, but so he's attacking for what, 6, and he can play Gideon and then have lethal next turn if he fades a draw step.
He can't. What do you mean attacking for 6? So yeah, that won't be lethal because Gideon's -4 is an emblem.
No, he just zeros Gideon.
Oh, makes a guy. So that'd be attack for.
He makes a guy, then makes Gideon 5/5.
So it'd be 1, 2, 3,
But
4, 5,
4,
6, 7, 8,
9.
9, 10. Yes, that would be lethal.
But instead, he goes this. I'm not sure what Phil's doing here. He just, I don't know.
Attacks for 3, puts him.
Doesn't matter.
4, puts him to 9.
Here's
He's
Helix.
dead anyways. Okay.
He cannot fade the draw. He needed to fade the draw step regardless.
Does he have lethal next turn?
He would have had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He would have had lethal. But it all did not matter.
Said he could have killed him next turn.
Which he could have, but it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Andrew the burn spell. He did what burn does.
Magic players love the I do dead next turn. But it doesn't matter because you died before them. Yeah. So was Teddy banned in our channel?
No, he was banned in Dylan Hovey's channel.
What's a Dylan Hovey?
Dylan Hovey writes in his videos for us. He streams as well as part of the Card Hoarder Network. He's doing a lot of Death Shadow.
Oh, nice.
He's a big Death Shadow player. We have a question. What Nightfall combo? What is the combo they went off of? So, I'm going to pull up for you. Bant Nightfall, spelled Knightfall. It is based around Knight of the Reliquary, which reads... It is a 3-mana 2/2. Gets +1/+1 for each land card in your graveyard. Tap, sack a forest or plain, search your library for a land card and put it on the battlefield so it can tap and grow itself.
And keep in mind that's any land.
Any land, yes.
So you get a fetch land. In older formats, you can get a wasteland.
Yes. Retreat of the Korra Helm is an enchantment from Battle for Zendikar. 2 and a blue. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield in your control, choose 1. You may scry 1. Okay. You may tap or untap target creature. So, you can tap Knight, get a land, it triggers landfall off retreat, Knight untaps, you therefore repeat the process until Knight becomes gigantic, you swing for a lot. Important to know that Knight does not have trample, however, there are versions of this deck that are 4-color for land card like
Keswick
Wolfram, which you can get off Knight of the Reliquary. So that is Bant Nightfall. It's a Collected Company Bant deck that plays Knight of the Reliquary with Retreat to Korra Helm to infinitely combo off and have a really big night.
So it's not actually infinite, but it's still...
Yeah, it's still enough to get the job done. Hope that answers your question there.
It's a
Joe Code 5.
It's plus band gets to play a more they're not a value game, but they also get to play cards like Spell Queller.
Yeah, the deck I see here,
which is very good.
Is birds, 4 hierarchs, 2 Primate, 2 Scavenging Ooze, 1 Selva Spirit, 3 Voices, 2 Cursors, an Eternal Witness, 4 Knights, 4 Spell Quellers, Tile Distractor, 3 Path, 4 Companies, and 3 Retreat with a sideboard of Bajuka Bog, Dispel, Meddling Mage, Negate, Primate, Scavenging Ooze, Selva Spirit, Unified Will, which is a 1 blue instant counter-target spell if you control...
Is that from Rise?
It's from Rise of Eldrazi. Counter-target spell if you control more creatures than that spell's controller. 2 Mind Sensors, 2 Instant Static Casters, 1 Elspeth Knight Errant, 1 Gideon Ally of Zenda cards. It's a company deck that slashes blue for some value, main board with a combo, and some sideboard cards as well.
I personally would rather play the Nightfall version of the deck. It's just because I don't want to slog through every round.
Yeah, it's...
Winning with the deck, you can do powerful things, but it takes a lot of setup. To play Todd Stevens' deck, you have to know what every other deck in the format's doing.
Here's a question for Awakening. If each of us had to choose a current Modern deck to play at an Open, what would we each play?
Elves.
Just because you know it best, right?
Yeah.
I play Storm because I know it best. Again,
if I could play anything and I was good at Magic,
still Storm for me.
I would probably play the Pyromancer deck because I think in a vacuum it's the most powerful.
I wouldn't mind building Rewrite Company, but just getting free Winds of Storm seems really good.
It does until they ban it, but they sent a very strong message for those of you that weren't aware. There were no changes in the ban restricted. And
I'm going to pull it back up here.
We can talk about this in between rounds, but
well, here's the thing: we're not going to waste too much time talking about their. I alluded to this on the pre-show. Here is what they said about Modern. Are you ready?
It's fine.
Well, there are no other changes to other formats at this time. We do continue to monitor the health of Modern, Vintage, and Pauper. Across the board, these formats are looking quite healthy right now. That's it. That is literally all they had to say about Modern.
Ah, did they run the numbers?
I don't know. Because they gave us 2 sentences and 3 lines.
All right, so there's a bunch of things wrong with this, but we can get into it later.
I already alluded to it.
So you talk about hoarding data, not being open with data. Other games are completely open with your data.
I have not done a turn 2 Storm win. I talked about how I don't get why Wizards didn't show us the table of standard win percentages. Just give us the data so we know how many people
because they want to curate it.
Decks.
They want to curate it and then artificially.
Yeah, but I think standard's diverse enough. You don't have to curate it.
So fill in the mulligan.
It looks like it. Yeah, he's got a shred to the bottom.
Also, I think Jake just likes playing Storm because he likes saying the word deterministic.
Never said it in my life. We have an update from the Stream Overlord himself. If we reach the donation goal, we will donate a box from his vault as a giveaway to the chat. And there's some pretty interesting boxes he has available.
Hype.
As we have a optimal turn 1 from both players, Mutavault into Aether Vial from Phil. Lets him get in some more creatures available. And Andy has a Goblin Guide.
So if we get to that 200 during this, we'll wrap it off doing a raffle in chat.
Yes.
To everybody that's watching. So I'm going to log in from my phone. Don't mind me. All right, so Phil with a fantastic start with Turn 1 Aether Vial. That's what you asked for. Andrew with the Turn 1 Goblin Guide. Mulling over his Turn 2 play here.
And just know that Andy's fetches have been pretty varied in terms of what they are, but the most important thing is they have red, and that's really all that matters in a deck like this.
Yep, this deck goes through iterations of 2 and 3 colors. Sometimes it splashes green for...
But like you'll see certain decks, like in fact, I'm running 4 Misty, 4 Verdant, period. You just need a green fetch. That's all you need.
Yeah, I just think because Magic players like to get to the 4.
So Phil, looking at the top card of his library, it is a Aven Mind Sensor. He's going to end up
drawing with you.
They're
both 12, and that makes them older than Robert. Phil's man is kind of interesting there.
He's got a Mutavault, Canopy, and a Ghost Quarter.
Yeah, he might run into the Ghost Quarter himself thing here. Phil does need to get out Thread. It's interesting he has no Turn 2 play nor Turn 3 play. So Andrew sheepishly untapping. He's a little nervous what's going on here. Although Phil did show he had an Aven Mind Sensor, right?
Yes.
I'm not really sure that I like... Actually, he's going to get him. He should get him here.
Is he going to get him?
Get him?
I would not be surprised.
We're going to get him here? We're going to respond here?
About it.
So Aven Mind Sensor says he can only search the top 4.
And you didn't know it had flash. So Phil
does
takes one
have
of
flash.
Canopy.
But if Andrew hits there, then Phil's going to get hit really hard with a Searing Blaze. He fails to
Swing and a
find.
miss. Strike one.
That
for
hurts.
Andy.
Yeah, so
And Phil pointed out that you're still searching. You're only searching top 4, but it's a search. So you look at the top 4 and then shuffle.
so apparently
Phil,
that worked out for Phil.
yeah, strip mining his opponent. He said he wants to strip mine people. That was the first time he has strip mined someone tonight. Possibly. It's the first time we've seen him strip
That's
mine someone on
this
camera.
friendly reminder to read the cards, folks.
Yes. Question from One Violence. If I were ever to play Death and Taxes at a larger event, I would do my best to wear a suit and bring a large calculator and have a fake scythe with me, so I am the Grim Reaper doing their taxes. Oh my.
As a Yu-Gi-Oh player, did you see there was a guy in the top that was on camera? I don't think he top 8 that was using a calculator to his life total last weekend.
I did not see.
Yeah, he was using a calculator. The chat was kind of going off on it. Traditionally, you only see that in Yu-Gi-Oh because they decided to add another 2 zeros to the end of the life totals for some odd reason.
I've seen the Green Ranger guy made an appearance.
What?
The Green Ranger. A couple years ago at a SCG Open in Columbus, the Green Ranger was playing.
The actual Green Ranger, or
No, someone cosplayed as Green Ranger.
Okay, because if Tommy Oliver's there, it's gonna be upset.
So here's something interesting. I don't think Andy has another non-fetch land in his hand. Here we go.
He's just going for it.
He's going for it.
All right. So first
Top
of all,
4.
I would have
Go. Missed again. Oh no.
I would have attacked here because Phil might block.
There is no way Phil is blocking though.
Yeah, but it's usually in your best interest to get as much information as possible before you play other spells. So unless he had a pre-combat spell, he should have just attacked.
So now Andy is in
Brad,
deep
can we bring up
trouble.
the chat on the screen too, since Jake is a hog? Thank you. Build using calculators with paper tape. That would be awesome. Or electronic device. Yeah, so that was my
You have to do
question.
this.
So there was 2 incidents recently where there was the quite dapper man at GP Vegas who was constantly on his phone, but people were defending it, saying he has to judge. To me, that's not okay.
No.
I don't care if it's work or not. Like, unless you can show me that you're an on-call doctor, but then you're still not texting back and forth. Also, yeah, a calculator is actually a device. Like, yeah, I don't think it should be allowed at the table, but
It's not
know.
internet, just like the boogie boards aren't internet.
D-Hall 317, absolutely. Give him an opportunity to block. See if he does. He's probably not going to, but unless you have a spell that you have to play in pre-combat. See, he did not have to play that Eidolon of Great Revel pre-combat. He could have played that post-combat.
So, if you're Phil here, do you Ghost Quarter him?
110%. But it can punish you. So I'm going to attack first, right?
How can it punish you?
Because I can float a mana, I can find a mana, and then I can Searing Blaze your creature.
Fair. Okay.
Right? You get a landfall trigger.
Yeah.
That phone guy at GP Vegas had a terrible suit, but he had a nice haircut, though. And his deck was nice and foily.
It was like he walked into H&M.
I mean, he wore it well. He looked good.
So Phil really thinking here. He's going to attack.
And bought a suit. Zan said won a match in the top 8 by giving his opponent the chance to mess up. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, people talk about that as an out on Magic Online all the time. And then people counter with, well, you must not value your time.
Phil's just going to pass.
And I say, I just want to win.
I remember Peter Ingram against an Impact player when they were attacking, trying to go for everything. Peter half-tapped his planes with nothing in hand.
Yeah.
It was very purposeful.
Yeah. Look up the pen trick.
Yeah.
Patrick Chapin pen trick. Look it up.
Meanwhile, we have a Viled in Mirror Entity.
So until you write it down on paper, nothing for sure happens. Until you've played the spell and put it down on the battlefield, you haven't cast that spell yet, Magic. So you can tap and untap, right? You can play mind games all day. Patrick Chapin.
Oh, I do this all the time.
Patrick Chapin was famous for the pen trick. I don't remember what event it was, but he actually reached for his pen and was acknowledging that he was going to write damage, and then changed and actually made a play. Because read what it says real quick. The pen trick, so we can get the exact.
First, Force of Mirror Entity is a 3-mana. Changeling, it's all creature types. X creatures you control become XX and gain all creatures end of turn. So use that to vial in the entity and pump up the entity to block the Goblin Guide successfully.
Yeah.
So
Ken Trio says Pentrick was World with Dragonstorm. I use the Pentrick day in day out. Yeah, I mean, this isn't hide my Dryad Arbor in my land sort of thing. This is, yeah. If you want to do that, go ahead. Like, I don't really have a problem with it. Like, discard Skullcrack.
Feel very happy that.
And for those of you that played back in Lorwyn, Mirror Entity was Lorwyn All-Star. and Kithkin. So he's just motoring down here.
So Phil
he has lethal, actually.
has unlocked the combo here.
He actually has lethal.
Not only that, he has. I think he has every type of his land is different.
Bentrick gets a lot of angle shooting. The Dryad Arbor is bad. Yes. That is hiding a creature in your land spot just because it's also a land.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, look at all these cards I could not cast.
Yeah, but I would counter to Andrew that you knew that he was going to draw Mind Censor when you saw it off the Goblin Guide. You should have fetched then.
Yeah. To quote Patrick Sullivan, ribbing on somebody about a year ago, I think it was. Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. I had all these cards. I didn't play the lands. Didn't let me play the cards.
I mean, I heard that you do need lands to play Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have a pretty good idea that when your burn opponent says move this card, you have a bunch of 2-drops in hand.
Yeah, it's like the still had all these.
We have an update from the floor, but Robert Meadows is 1-1. Team of the Month lives on.
Yeah, one Violent Strider Arbor should have never, ever been printed like that. Ever. It looks exactly... Hey, bring up the From the Vault Dryad Arbor run.
Yeah, and Goodbreak, you're right. Half of this gameplay from Phil, and he said it earlier tonight. He wants to turn 2 strip mine someone.
Well, he definitely mimicked the legacy version of Death and Taxes with the mana denial.
That is what he wants to do.
Games don't traditionally play out like that with the modern version of Death and Taxes, but, you know...
Phil is someone who likes this archetype. He has tweaked this archetype, and he's doing pretty well so far.
Am I allowed to say this card's horseshit? Because look at this thing. Look at this thing. It looks exactly like a forest.
It does.
Gabriel Nassif had a point, although Gabriel Nassif knew what it was. But, I mean, everybody has a point. Just people cared more because it was Gabriel Nassif.
Bring up a forest. Yep,
there's a regular forest.
People like to play the game of throw the Dryad Arbor, Warriors Waldo style. In a pile
it's almost like when people let madness things happen, and we used to play with our lands in front of our spells.
Bring back up the original Dryad Arbor from Future Sight.
Yeah, this one, I don't have a problem with original Dryad Arbor because the border is completely unique.
Yeah. Like you don't know what this card is.
Yeah, no, you don't need. Yeah.
You go, what is it? Oh, okay, it's a land creature. Got it.
Right, but if I'm playing Magic, I'm going to have this up with my creatures 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I'm especially not stacking on my lands pile.
So we'll bring chat back up on the camera because Luger91 has a really good point. They just want Green Sun Zenith unbanned in Modern. And we alluded to this earlier.
Does or does not?
Does. Unbanned. Like, why are some of these cards still banned? Why is Green Sun Zenith or Stoneforge or some of these cards, why are they still banned in Modern?
I could make cases both ways for Green Sun Zenith. You get to kind of like a homogenous metagame if it proves powerful, where people are just doing the same thing again and again and again.
But you can get 7 mana turn 3 and Tron.
Correct, but you're going like Jeff Hoogan on me. Like, oh, this, like he posted something of somebody like turn 1ing a Gristlebrand.
Yeah.
Look, don't ruin your argument by saying somebody got a nut draw and a really high variance thing.
For what's worth, it was turn 2 after Billy Camino's style no land pass.
Yeah, like you can't point out. You have to look at the average power level of a card, right? Mm-hmm. Saying that, oh my god, I did this really sweet thing this one time, and this really high variance deck that doesn't do well traditionally, they could do this real powerful thing, so why can't I? Because they're going to put Stoneforge Mystic in a tier 1 deck.
Yeah, but what tier 1 deck as a perfect except for Andrew?
Any deck,
Eidolon
any
here.
Control deck with white. Death and Taxes would play it. Lots of decks would just put 4 Stoneforge Mystics in, right? If I'm playing a company deck, I'm going to. Let's see.
Do you think
Phil also needs to remember his life gain triggers here.
Yeah. Do you think that's better than everything else in the format right now, though?
I think that going turn 1 Dryad Arbor is very powerful for a green deck.
What about Stoneforge? Do you think it's better than other decks in the format?
I think Stoneforge Mystic would. I think it's fine to unban both for the record overall because I'm interested in how it would do. Mm-hmm. But traditionally, they've done very degenerate things. Countercat was one of the first modern decks that had success. And it turns every deck into a toolbox deck. Because you're playing a sorcery, it's pretty innocuous. It's not that damaging. Yeah, Green Sun Zenith only finds 1/2 the combo. That's correct, but it's just more cards to do that. You could argue that Jeff Hoogan does make a good point about Thoughtseize, that Thoughtseize is a bad design. Right? Look at Gataxian Probe. Draw a card, get perfect information. That was actually recently banned. Homogenizing is bad when every deck just morphs to be the same thing. So yes, all blue decks play Snapcaster Mages, but all blue Snapcaster Mage decks are not the same.
A Blade Spicer from Phil here after no attack from Andrew. Do you agree with that no attack into the Core Firewalker?
Just the core Firewalker? No. Absolutely not. I'm attacking. I'm attacking 100% of the time. Especially because he was going to get in for 2 no matter what. There's nothing Phil could have in the game of Magic to punish him.
So it's really interesting what's going to happen here, because Phil's gaining life every time Andrew casts a spell, just like here. So Phil only takes 2, down to 8.
What white deck would not want Stoneforge Mystics? Every white deck would want it. Every white deck would play 4 Stoneforge Mystics. It is boring, because it would just be a race to find the best Stoneforge Mystic deck. If you took out correct. So you could argue either way. The good thing and the bad thing about Modern is deck variety. Do you want to go to a turn and play against 7 decks with Stoneforge Mystic and Batterskull? Sure.
Personally, yes, because then I get to construct my deck in certain ways to expect that. But again, people like me to just shove.
Is it going to be oppressive? No. It would just lead to less decks being viable if something could be pushed out. Turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic into turn 3 Batterskull completely invalidates burn. I don't have a problem with that because I hate burn, but
I think Wizards should just come out and say,
I think it's just
if they want Modern to be
unban
a super diverse format where everything's viable.
Right, Cake Man is a 2-4. That card is disgusting. I think you should. Yeah, and that's the way to deal with Batterskull now. People are saying Batterskull would be bad. No, Kolaghan's Command deals with it. It's nice. Kolaghan's Command also deals with the Stoneforge Mystic. Modern's about tripping for 8 rounds at a day 1 GP. Yeah, and then you get to play all the humans and Mardu Pyromancer's decks and the Tron decks. Losing your one in it. Yeah, that's a good feeling. I've done that quite a few times. I think
for top 8 the Invitational you lost.
Yeah. Jake's salting back here. I think that they should unban a lot and then monitor it. I hate preemptively. All these cards are preemptively banned.
Yes.
Right? And they're going to make over-swimming points of, well, Bitter Blossom was once banned. Well, if you played Fairies, if you played against Fairies in Lauren Standard or an Extended, it was miserable. It was a miserable play pattern.
Why the Coddle once being banned?
Because it was very powerful a decade ago. I do not like that Modern still has these preemptive bannings.
Meanwhile, the board state
Hypergenesis Go. Lugger says never happened to me. I've always day 2. Pew pew. Shots fired.
My the board state here is it's really interesting just because Andy can't really attack through anything. And Phil's trying to mount the board state where he can attack through this.
Phil should be at 3 also. So
no, he gained the life off the thing. He should be at 4, I believe.
Well, he should be... Either way,
because he was at lower. 7 when the Rorschach was cast. Gains 1, goes to 8, takes 4, down to 4. I believe.
He'd be 2 lower, though, because he would have taken 2 damage.
From what?
From the attack that Andrew didn't do.
Oh, I got you.
This is ballsy. I might have attacked with the 3/3. I don't think I'm ever attacking with my core Firewalker unless I can get through.
I agree, because Andrew has no cards in hand. He can't prowess this up.
Mirror Entity. Oh.
Did he just take... Did he take damage for that, though? Well, to be fair, he's at a gain of life, so only Boroshan would have killed him there. Because he's at 3 now, right? Yeah, he's at 3. So yeah, Boroshan would have killed. I'm not sure why he played the entity.
Yeah, I like attacking for 3 with the. I don't know what else is in Phil's hand, but he's trying to go for the big flashy one here.
He's being really aggressive. Here comes another Monastery Swiftspear. And he's down to 10. This is relevant because...
Yeah, the donations of bar is a little big. Maybe we can shrink it a little, Ren.
Yeah, we'll shrink it down for you.
But it is important, nonetheless.
When are you guys going to put Farrell on?
Out.
Can't see the dice.
I think he's at 4.
Phil still can't get too aggressive here. I just think he needs to build out his board. Well, I would attack for 3, right? And if he blunks, just kill the Eidolon.
Again, we don't know what Phil's has in hand.
The most he can do here is 4 damage.
Because the entity makes...
Because Andrew could just block everything.
And the entity can have a 4/4, correct?
Everything. It makes everything.
Like, technically, he has a lethal attack here. Do you just swing with everything?
No, absolutely not.
Why not?
Because if he swings with everything and then he goes Boris Charm, you attack with 2 prowess guys and the Eidolon, and you don't have stuff.
But he swings with everything and he mirrors everything because the 4/4, right?
Sure.
That's lethal attack then.
You only have to block 2 things.
But I said Phil's just gonna attack with the Fire Carpet. Andy down to 8. Passing it back. Be really interesting to see what he has in hand.
So to finish the conversation, I think a lot more things should be unbanned in Modern and see what happens, and Wizards should be willing to unban and ban more readily.
How much do you think should be unbanned in Modern? Are you on the same train as me and just say everything not named by a Vugan?
I really don't want to play against Chate decks.
And you draw a Skullcrack for the turn. That is,
Or top is just terrible. Damage can't be prevented. He can't gain life, but he actually gets it off the cast trigger.
Correct. Yes.
So,
because Core Fireworker says, whenever a player casts the red spell, so it checks before the resolution of Skullcrack.
so if Phil has a flash creature, Andrew's actually dead, and he doesn't.
No.
Why is Phil? I don't understand. He's being very passive. So on Cruise back in Modern, sure. If you want to build your deck to do Cruise to draw 3 cards at sorcery speed, my guess, which I think Dig Through Time is more harmful.
Yes.
There's also only so many of these cards you can put in your deck before it's too dilute. You can only delve so many times. Like, then how are you going to play your Tasigur? Your Snapcaster Mages become considerably worse.
Exactly. If you add in cards like that, then the Snapcaster Mages, which are in these blue decks already, become worse. Here's the all-out attack.
That actually
from Phil.
kills him. What are we doing?
First strike, so they all have first strike.
This just kills.
They don't all have first strike. I don't understand.
Phil just bided his time and is able to attack through Andy's creatures. And that will do it. Phil Jones.